Tja, Casseris, was ist hier los? Cassie, was hast du angestellt?
Well, it seems that when I sent you to look for Anaxa, I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him instead.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
In that case, please tell us as much as you can.
Also, was ist passiert, als du Anaxa aufgesucht hast?
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
Okay, jetzt bin ich gespannt.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now. But that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Wechsel zur Perspektive von Casseris.
Have you heard of this tale before? A tale about the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. It was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean breeze and glorious, peaceful times, thanks to the wisdom of its ruling queen. Until one day, an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower and devoured the queen's beloved daughter. It even settled itself in her bedroom, like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones. Devastated, the queen wept for several days. It was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy. The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp. Worse still, the souls of the deceased refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time. The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well. Until... Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Oh my... It seems that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Polixia. So, according to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image. And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
My goodness, is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Quiet, Titan. Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally reveal itself.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
A fable, you say? If so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead. What? At a loss for words?
No, I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What? What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Let's just leave it at that. That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually. My time is finally here. However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price. Our trial can only be completed when the one chosen sacrifices her life. I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
My sister is prepared to sacrifice herself. And yet, I can't do the same. How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? If I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind...
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar.
Tja, das solltet ihr natürlich auch, weil du hast das immerhin ja schon mal erlebt gehabt. Die erste Flammenjagd. Oder vielleicht ja sogar auch schon die nächste Flammenjagd. Oder vielleicht schon die dritte, vierte, fünfte, sechste, siebte. Wir wissen ja, er sagt nicht, wie lange, dass er sagt, jetzt schon dieser Kreislauf Bestand hat auf Amphoreos. Aber so oder so, Chaos. Wer oder was ist Chaos? Der Anführer der damaligen Helden, die dann, er sagt, zu den heutigen Titanen wurden. Oder der Ursprung allem. Weil ich bin, er sagt, der Meinung, im Stammbaum der Götter, also der griechischen Götter, war Chaos, er sagt, sowieso die erste Existenz, aus der nachher, er sagt, alle anderen ja quasi entstanden. Also natürlich, er sagt später dann sowieso, er sagt nach Chaos, dann er sagt sowieso ja Kronos, der Titan der Zeit, der dann ja sowieso, er sagt ja auch die, naja, ersten Götter erzeugte, ja Zeus, Poseidon, Hades und so weiter und so fort. Müsste ich also rein theoretisch mal kurz nachgoogeln. Um das Ganze nochmal kurzzeitig zu bestätigen. Mal sehen, griechische... Götter. Mal sehen, wie wir wissen, die griechischen Götter sind ja, sag ja, Zeus, Hera, Persephone, Ares, Aphrodite, Dionysos, Athene, Hephaistos, Hermes, Demeter, Poseidon, Artemis, Hades und Apollon. Tja, das wissen wir natürlich ja alle. Das sind ja die das sind ja die Götter, die man sowieso vom Olymp her kennt. Aber wer war jetzt, sagt der andere? Okay, wo hatte ich das jetzt? Wo hatte ich das jetzt? Okay, im Allgemeinen Olympia im weiteren Sinn. Zu den Olympioi als Göttergeschlecht, das nach dem Sturz des Kronos und der Titan herrschte, werden unabhängig vom Wohnsitz neben Zeus selbst alle seine Geschwister und Kinder gerechnet. So heißt es ja natürlich, ja. Aber das Chaos jetzt sogar an der Stelle Kronos sei. Es würde natürlich, er sagt, zeittechnisch, also mit dem Thema Zeit eigentlich ja passen. Wenn Kronos hier eigentlich auch noch eine richtige Rolle spielt. Der Titan, naja, der erste Titan. Aber ich hatte hier doch irgendwo auch mal... eine richtige Art von Stammbaum gehabt. Wieso zum Henker finde ich das jetzt, sagt nicht. Okay, ich glaube, ich hatte das damals mal anders eingegeben. Mal sehen, machen wir mal griechischer Gott des Chaos. Mal sehen, was hatte ich da gefunden? Okay, das würde, er sagt, jetzt schon eher passen. Ja, das würde sowieso passen. In der griechischen Mythologie ist Chaos eine Urkraft, aus der die Götter entstanden. Also rein theoretisch kann das, er sagt, thematisch hier noch richtig gut passen. Mit Chaos. Die Urkraft, aus der die Götter entstanden. Naja, und generell aus dem Chaos entstand, er sagt, Kronos, ein Schöpfergott, der aus dem Chaos entstand. Rein theoretisch würde das, er sagt, auch alles gut passen. Und in diesem Zusammenhang der Zeit müsste ja eigentlich ja Kronos... Ja, wie könnten wir das jetzt, er sagt, hier am besten, er sagt, einordnen? Wäre Kronos, er sagt, an der Stelle eher das goldene Blut oder würde... Obwohl, es müsste, er sagt, ja eigentlich das goldene Blut sein. Und ich gehe, er sagt, eigentlich immer noch davon aus, dass das goldene Blut ja eigentlich ja wirklich im Zusammenhang mit Nanook steht. Dem Äon der Zerstörung. Das passt einfach viel zu gut eigentlich zusammen. Und nur weil er sagt, Nanook zum allerersten Mal auf einem anderen Planeten ja erschien, laut den Aufzeichnungen des Universums, muss es ja nicht, er sagt, bedeuten, dass das, er sagt, auch sein Heimatplanet gewesen war. Naja. Weiter jetzt erstmal im Text.
But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
Oder besser gesagt, wurden die Namen nachträglich ausgelöscht, nachdem erstmal die damalige Ära Nova eingeleitet wurde. Damit jeder denkt, Titanen sind gottgleiche Wesen, die, er sagt, nicht aus Menschen entstanden sind. So zum Beispiel.
Amphorius' history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held three hypotheses about this. However, let's continue watching for now.
Calypso, Polixia, and this warrior. I seem to have met him somewhere before.
Regarding this matter, Naius, are you confident that you'll complete your trial?
Of course. Though, I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged victorious.
Looks like you have made up your mind.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, You shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it. Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk. A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Kaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily. Since there's still time, I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Anaias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness. That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact...
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attained their divinity. If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Polixia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
But before that, we first need to witness what ultimately happened to Lord Anaias.
Tja, dann wollen wir noch mal sehen, was mit Gneos geschehen ist. Und die Perspektive haben wir jetzt sowieso wieder gewechselt. Also könnten wir rein theoretisch jetzt hier noch einen kleinen anderen Wechsel vollführen.
Lady Treeby, please stay close.
Tja, das wäre sowieso erstmal meine favorisierte Zusammenstellung, wenn wir dann erstmal Cassie haben.
Nikador's courage is a testament that they have never once retreated from a battle.
I've heard that these words are still engraved in Castrum Kremnos even today. It didn't occur to me that they were actually part of an alchemical formula. Sealed within this statue is undoubtedly his sacrifice.
They use their own body as our city walls, keeping out and protecting us from the pervasive spread of madness. They are acutely aware that if the end times were to arrive, there would be nothing left in this world to conquer.
Honor, courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Naias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either. But I am certain of one thing. This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady. The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow. The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
How does someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living, afford the same amount of bliss? Now please, go away and don't block my starlight.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
That's exactly what life is, and death is, but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world.
Indeed. I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words. It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.